Hello, welcome to Dixon Realty's first quarter of 2026 Reno Sparks market update. We always like to start with what most people want to see first, and that is how is the median sales price in the Reno Sparks area. You can see we had a pretty incredible jump month over month, just from last month where we ended at around 569,000 up to 599,000. That's a 5.2% increase just in one month. Not a normal jump by any means, but if you look at a year over year time frame, it was actually a smaller jump of 4.3%. So we continue since 2022 to be in this band of anywhere from kind of the 570s up to 600 with a peak of 615, which we've actually hit three different times over the course of the last 3 years. So we definitely aren't having much of a decline, but we're not seeing consistent appreciation on top of itself year after year. So very interesting here to just see it kind of be flat continually. Homes sold, we did have increase, which is typical to see in spring, which we kind of would consider March to be that. And we had an earlier spring than usual with the warmer winter that we had. So 34% increase in homes sold in March compared to February of this year, but also a sign that's great to see that we're up 14% from March of last year. So healthy to see that demand is growing year over year. New contracts. So these will be the homes that will end up selling probably in April. So a big significant increase here of 23% month over month, and then 54% since this same time last year. So demand definitely within the first quarter is more than it was in 2025. So again, that to me is a measure of healthiness in the marketplace. Interest rates did come down at the beginning of this quarter. They've gone back up somewhat because of the war and things happening there. So that will continue to kind of play with demand throughout the course of this year. On the inventory side of things, new listings had a significant jump in March, up 58%, so from 360 to 568. Again, it is normal to see just like demand increase in spring, inventory as well, but this is significant. You can also see how many more came on the market March of this year versus March of last year. So a 22% increase in that time frame last year to now. Active inventory, this is what really determines how slow or how fast the market really moves, because as the active inventory is really low, you have then less options for the buyers out there, and typically then absorptions start to increase. Well, that's what we have seen in the first quarter of this year. It has felt anecdotally as well as the data is showing us that it's been a busy first quarter. So to have active inventory at 657, if you were to draw a line all the way across here, that would be in the last 3-4 years on the lower side. We do think this will continue to increase though, as if we have that type of new inventory increase the next couple months like we did in this month, that will probably outstrip demand and we'll see active inventory grow. But that is a typical pattern that we see, that spring into summer and into early fall, it kind of peaks and then starts to dip into late fall and winter as people start to retract and take their homes off and usually plan to list the next spring. And then the last thing also for just kind of the healthiness of this market, how fast is it moving? Days on market. So we did see, not too surprised here, that March actually declined days on market by about 4%. So we went from 96 down to 92. That shows, again, that demand is right now outstripping inventory, which is a sign, again, of healthiness, I would see, in the entire market. So March of last year, though, we were at 79 days. That definitely was an even quicker market back then, but it'll be interesting to see how the rest of spring plays out, as new active inventory should be increasing significantly, but will the buyer demand there be there to consume most of that, and see if prices will continue to rise the rest of the spring and summer market. Thanks so much for watching. Please reach out to your favorite Dixon agent if you have any questions, and we look forward to our next one.